I feel like I have to do like a Vic intro on this one because I know he's going to come and say, "Oh, I'm so glad I saw this movie," right? But at the same time, I feel like I should be a little vengeful for this movie because I saw this movie for 2 hours and 54 minutes, and that'll be a little bit of a spoiler. What is that? There we go. All right. Anyway, we're talking about the movie that just came about 4 days ago. It is called The Batman.
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance.
What's black and blue and dead all over?
So I remember when Steve Superior had us watch this trailer, I was like, I'm going to be forthcoming. I actually enjoyed the trailer, the first one we watched. I was like, you know what? Might be pretty good. Then I saw the second one and the third one. I'm like, who is this emo piece of shit? I should have known. I should have never gave him the benefit of the doubt because he made Twilight. But I still want to watch it with an open mind. Stop looking like that in the background, Mr. Knox. I'm like, that's how I feel. But I still went to this movie theater. Best friend came to town. We still went to the movie theater, and I watched it with an open mind. It's like, I'm not going to hold this Twilight past against them. I'm not going to hold these trailers against them. I'm going to watch this movie with an open mind, and the Lord knows I did. And now I get the chance to talk about it, but I'm not going to do it alone. We got some very special panel for you tonight. Let's bring them in one by one. I'm going to go from left to right. Let's start off. You know him. He's from around the way, right? No, around the blocks. He's Mr. Mike Knox. What's going on?
What's going on, man? As you can see my background right now, I am vengeance. Okay. And
ongoing joke.
I spoke to this movie several times, and I think this movie is beyond amazing. And I'll save it for the rest of the show. But I'm gonna let that be my caveat to your intro. This movie was amazing, people.
All right, let's bring on somebody else who might have thought this movie was amazing. She might not like it. We're gonna find out, ladies and gentlemen. It's E-Bug.
Hi.
That's a very nice intro you have there, young lady. Thank you so much for that. All right, we have the running joker tonight. It's Vengeance. What's going on, Mr. Vengeance?
What's going on, everybody? This movie was just finished, and it's great.
Of course, it was just finished. It's either just finished or it's being finished while we're doing the show.
No. It was actually just finished.
Okay, all right.
I saw that it was 2 hours and 56 minutes. So yeah, I timed it out.
As you just walked out of the theater.
No. I downloaded
okay.
it.
Yeah, he illegally streamed it.
I'm sorry. What? Can you please share that information with me later so I can watch it again before April 19th on HBO Max?
No, don't do it. I had to. It's not a good copy.
Oh well, that's just bad.
Yeah. You get what you pay for. You know what I'm saying? So
it's only been 4 days. In a couple weeks, it might be a little different. So you might still be able to find a good copy for
April 19th, HBO Max.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, last but definitely not least is
what?
Home.
Who? Did the internet go
wow,
out?
he just froze. That's hilarious. Well, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, it's C the Superior. And while we wait
Hey,
how you doing?
I came on and he's speechless because I'm about to take up for this movie because I've been defending this movie ever since the trailer came out to Chris. So he knows what's good. And all I gotta say is I'm a genius because we did a trailer review when the first trailer came out and we gave our predictions and all of my predictions came true, all of my observations. So look, and I'm never want to give him my props, but he knows I'm right. So I can't wait to talk about this with you guys.
I know he feels a little upset because my first reaction out of the movie theater, I called him first because I had heard his opinion, and he's one of the few. We all know how he thinks about things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
I
stop.
actually have some things that I said to him that I still feel that way, and I'll discuss those later. So he was like, "Yes, I won't be alone on Tuesday." And then, like, literally, like within an hour and a half, I was just like, "Oh, I gotta edit my other post I put." I'm sorry, guys. This movie was like that. You know what I mean? And as it grows and grows, and as I've seen it more than once, it's just, it's a really, really good Batman film.
Mm-hmm.
And I, as someone, and I said this off air, guys, I'm not a Batman guy. I'm 100% a Superman guy. I watch movies for movies. I watch movies to be entertained. I watch them for what they're meant to be. I don't try to go past the cinematic universe and all that other kind of stuff. I save that for the John Campions of the world. Okay, but I watched this movie for what it was they gave me, and this movie is, if only way I can explain it now, and I'll shut up, is if you've seen Gotham. Gotham was a movie, a TV show about Gotham City. Didn't have Batman in it at all. It was all about Gotham. This movie is Gotham with a rookie Batman in it. And I just thought in every aspect of anything that I've ever saw in cartoons, had friends tell me about, this showed all those wonderful things that those people love, right? About the Batman. And I just thought it was absolutely incredible of a movie. But he is finally here. He's taking control. He's put us in our places. The ladies up top. He's finally next to two beautiful women. So can we give him applause for that?
Okay, first of all, that's not the first time this happened. Okay, I'm still Chris. Okay,
here we go,
and you
here
will
we
respect the fact that I'm the executive consultant. Thank you for your opinion, Mike. Thank you for being a Benedict Arnold and the Judas and everything like that.
So
because
sorry.
you did call me, and that's how the conversation went. I was like, thank you, because I feel like because truth be told, one other person was supposed to be on the show, but unfortunately he had to work. He couldn't be here today, and that's Rashad. However, right, I know. He isn't able to thumbs up, and I'm like, I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be attacked, right? I was hoping C Superior was going to say something different, but of course, she was messaging me while she was in the theater. I'm like, oh, yeah, And I was on the phone with Ron sometimes too. I'm like, oh, I see where this is going. Sexiest Batman. But I'm gonna let her tell you about it right now. C Superior thoughts on this movie.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to take it there because this was definitely the sexiest Batman we've had on screen. A lot of great chemistry with him and Catwoman, making all the kitties purr. We love this Batman. I will say there were a couple things that I loved outside of this particular Batman, right? I love how dark it was. I love that, of course, like everyone's mentioned before, that this is the Batman that we get to see him solving problems, right? And being a detective. James, he always brought up the fact that Tony Stark, you never see him doing the work. He's just famous and smart, but we never see it. This Batman, we see him doing the work. He's observing things. He's going back and looking at everything he saw the night before. He's taking notes. He has journals of everything that's happened the night of. So you can actually see him putting in the work. I love that about this movie. I like the villain. He was, giving Jigsaw sometimes, but he was still good. I love a Catwoman. I was initially worried about Zoe playing her at first years ago, but now I have to eat my words. She definitely she felt like a Catwoman to me, and so I should probably one of the best that we've had. And I will say that this is probably the best movie one Batman we've ever had. Movie one. I'm not talking about sequels or anything like that. This is the best one. And if you say it's not, you'll be lying. So I know we do have a couple different segments. I have that stuff written down so I can participate. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts.
You're probably the only one besides myself, C. I guarantee no one else has anything else. But we'll see. We'll talk about E-Book. Actually, no, Vengeance.
Oh wait, before I forgot to mention one thing.
Go ahead. Do you think
this is the first Batman that I feel like you can really see that he may be a lunatic. Like he doesn't care if he dies. He has that maniacal, or not maniacal, but like really meticulous thing about him. He's always, you can see him working things through his mind. Even when he's in the Batsuit, he's looking at everything. He's recording. He's always observing, always quiet because he's recording these things for later. So that's what I liked about it. Wow, chef's kiss.
All right, Vengeance, what do you have for it?
All right, well, okay, so this movie was entertaining. However, it's very emo, and it's very Gen Z. It's definitely very Gen Z. Now, one thing that I liked about it was the it was an enormous amount of drama. I mean, just drama after drama after drama after drama after drama. Just hitting hard, hitting real hard. You know, however, like, I don't know if it's because I went and got you know, like a bad version, but a lot of the stuff was on the nose. Like a lot of the stuff, like I feel like you had to know the characters already. There wasn't necessarily like an explanation as to who was who, or like an origin story or any of that stuff. It was just like right into action. And I feel like most of the movie, more than anything,
Yes.
like Mike said before, it wasn't necessarily about Batman. It was about Gotham. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it was more about the problems that's going on in Gotham. And when it comes to the villain, like, damn, this guy, wow. Number one, Falcone, of course. And all the drama that came on with Falcone, him being Catwoman's father, and all of this other stuff with the Waynes, and how, and mind you, I never heard of Catwoman's mother before. I never heard so much about Thomas Wayne before. And I don't think this ever happened. I think that all of this stuff was new, as far as like Thomas Wayne running for mayor and all of that other stuff. Like a lot of that stuff was very, very captivating. As far as Batman goes, he felt like he felt like one of those people in wait, what was that show back in the day?
What show?
I don't want to learn.
Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek, yeah. He
How?
felt like one of those kids in Dawson's Creek.
How?
It felt very like it felt like a 19-year-old that was like you know, very emotional and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, like he really kicked ass. Like the one thing that I did like, it was the fighting scenes where it seemed a lot more realistic, because in other Batmans it was just like a couple of hits, bomb here and there, and then that's it. Like this version, it definitely felt realistic. Now, what I didn't like, I mean, I wish that the movie would have ended a little bit better, because it kind of ended in like a sunset scene type of thing, like, you know, riding off into the sunset type of thing. I didn't necessarily expect that, but clearly that's a setup for a sequel. So you know, clearly, you know what I mean. And mind you, and we're clearly gonna see the Joker in the next movie. You know what I mean. So like, you know, all that laughing and all of that, you know, it felt, now that scene with the Joker and the Riddler, it felt very Blow. You know that movie Blow, when like George Young meets Diego Delgado in the prison, and then all of a sudden they become co-kings? That it felt just like that. So we'll see what they do, and especially after fucking the Riddler blew up half the city, had it flooding. Like, yo, the drama was just crazy in this movie. Like it was a good time. It really was. Even if I had the bootleg version with a whole bunch of commercials on it,
You just keep telling on yourself, huh? You just waiting for Batman to come out of the shadows and whoop your ass for.
Yeah, okay. Who's gonna do that, Chrissy? It hasn't happened in 20 years. You think it's gonna happen now? Please. Shoot fly with all of that. Better recognize. You don't know nerds, girl. You better recognize. Get out of here with all these Apple products.
We do not claim the illegal streaming.
Why Apple catch a straight like that?
Yeah,
Apple get it every time for no reason. Like, leave Apple alone.
Because you can't do anything with an Apple.
You can do everything with any phone.
You can't order it with an Apple product. That's the thing.
Not the time and the place. Not the time and place. We went on a tangent last time. Three of us talked about this. So let's keep going on, Vengeance. What we got? What else you got?
Well, no, you know, that's it, really, because I went on the tangent already, and now I'll mute myself before I do that.
Before you talk too much. Bug, what you got going?
Saving the best for last, I see.
I feel like you never went, just so you know. I don't feel like I went. I feel like I was speaking. Because it was just okay.
That's fine. You can go after Bug. Cool.
It should have been a give and take, but we're going to go through our non-existent spoiler recap. So, guys and gals and MBs, I took a couple notes because there are some things that I was like, wow! And there are other things that I was like, huh? What's going on here? Aren't you Detective Batman? It felt very Great Mouse Detective, only because the guy who plays the Penguin, Colin Farrell, looks smack like that big fat evil rat. But anyway, yeah, this movie was wild. I really loved that it took this, like, you know, noir detective route. Like you guys said, it's like, you know, rookie Batman. So we're seeing him, you know, still get his butt whooped, end up with a bunch of lacerations and bruises at the end of the night, just beating like menial peons, right? And then suddenly a big case comes and he's on the job. So I thought that was cool. Seeing him like not quite established just yet. Also, Robert Pattinson's Bruce, for me, has been the most interesting of all the Bruces. He seems very layered. The hurt behind what he went through and the training and all of that, like he just does that very, very well. I felt his grief even when he was, kicking ass. I felt the pain that he was pushing through to be the hero that he sought to be. And I loved the angle. I loved the angle that the Riddler took, kind of exposing the martyr that was Thomas Wayne to his own son. That
was weird to me.
That felt like a really interesting, genuine way to get under Batman's skin.
But why would he want to do that, right? Because he admired Batman. He thought Batman was like his little partner in crime, right? And the fact that I thought it was really telling that he went after Bruce Wayne because of what his father did. And then later on in the movie, he said, oh, because Bruce, he had all this money. He wasn't a real orphan. So it didn't seem like he was really going after justice there. He was just going after his
I love the voice.
Kind of
say that one more time. He was telling me he wasn't a real orphan. That's just how he sounded too. Yeah, he scared me there.
Orphan.
So the guy who played
in cold, and he was just jealous of him, and that's why I feel like that's why he wanted to kill him.
So yes, he was jealous of him, but in the end, like he reveals that he saw himself in Batman, and he saw Batman in himself, and kind of what Batman's motivations are the same as his. And so for me, it was just like if you're in a cult, right? There's somebody who is going to convince you that your reality is not real, right? And that you have to accept theirs in order to continue living not ignorantly. So he thought that if he could expose the privilege that, Batman knew he was privileged, but if he could expose how tied the privilege is to the detriment of Gotham, the people of Gotham, the children of Gotham, much like himself, then he thought that he would have somebody that could identify with him and a true friend. But alas, he had to continue seeking that toward the end. I did have a couple questions, though. I, again, loved this grungy 90s Batman facade, unwashed, sallow-cheeked Batman. I think that's great. He looks depressed, and that is what Batman is supposed to give. So when they get the first, that thumb drive, when they figure it out and they get the thumb drive and they put it into the first computer they see, right? There's no closed network on that computer. It's connected to the internet, right? They're dealing with somebody who puts something on a thumb drive. I'm sorry, but if a villain puts something on a thumb drive, I'm going to make sure it's not connected to anything that's like a high risk security purposes. They just shoved it straight into the computer.
Yeah, they could have sent a virus out to all of Gotham, which is already accessible. Yeah, it was that was so password protected. That was so Android.
Uncharacteristic of Bruce to allow to happen.
Such a PC thing to do.
That's typically where that happens even in movies.
On
but
PCs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. I love that Batman was so attentive to details that's how he identified Selena Kyle by those pleaser boots. He knew that was her. And I doubly loved that he thought he clocked her again at the mayor's funeral beside Falcone, and it was somebody else. It was like, no, you're not going to see me in the same boots twice, honey.
He was sweating. He was like, oh, she's with that guy.
Yeah, he was feeling a type of way because he's already assuming he knows they have a special relationship, but he doesn't know what exactly it is. He hasn't identified that yet. He makes his assumptions based on her lifestyle, but what man wouldn't? So he figures out it's not her, and then that leads me to be like, okay,
I'll answer that question.
Yo, why is Falcone dating somebody not only the same age as his daughter, but that dresses like his daughter?
Because he's a dirty effing bird. That's why.
Okay, but that just takes it to a whole nother level. Like, that's really gross. I loved her tie, this like triangle connection between Selena, Bruce, and Falcone. It's just so entrenched with kind of the founding of Gotham's current whatever structure, and it's just perfect. It's like it was poetic how it ties into these like founding families that were trying to be philanthropic and build up Gotham to be the wonder it is today, but also to counter like regular urban problems like homelessness and crime. And then for it to twist the way it did to where it's essentially run by the worst of the gangsters, because it's like no honor among thieves with Falcone. He's like, fuck it. He's going to do whatever to benefit himself in the long run. I thought that was so cool that they tied that in so deeply with Selena and Bruce, because it again gives them something to what's the word? Connect about. Yeah, something to forge that bond a little bit stronger, and allows them to trust each other. Of these two, would not trust anybody else, but because they are so entrenched in this, and their families are, and their legacy, like they realize they have to team up. Hated Catwoman's mask. The ears weren't pointy enough. I love the Scully vibe, but I need more ears.
It was just giving kitten. I like it. I like it way better than Anne Hathaway's mask. That one was giving like, a Phantom of the Opera ball. Like, what are you covering
Anne
here?
Hathaway looks like a damn model in that damn movie.
Boy, boo. And this mask is way better.
Oh, Devil and Prada. Oh, Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, she looked great, but this is but like you said, Mike, this is the best Selena Kyle thus far, is my opinion. She really kicked ass. I hated that it was still a hero in heels. I like to say hero in heels. Makes no sense to me. But at least they were a little conservative, so she can just kind of get a good Sparta kick. Right somebody in the chest.
Sparta.
Yeah, that was cool. Riddler's online presence. Wow. That he got more followers in me than 3 days in my entire life, pretty much. I cannot imagine getting that many followers, and devout followers at that. Liking all my posts.
That's Gotham for you.
Yeah, he was serious. Penguin was squeamish at the dead photos of Anna. I thought that was weird. Don't he look in the mirror?
Think he was. I think he was playing a role.
Yes, Steven.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Daddy.
He was playing a wait. What's he saying? Yeah, well, they were pretty hot. There was at least,
they was giving chemistry.
Yeah, there were at least 2 positions that they fell in this movie that I was like, oh, those are my favorite. So I was like, yeah, perfect for that chemistry. Hated Alfred. Next.
Is that me?
Hated
Mike,
Alfred.
That's definitely on you, Mike.
Okay.
Hated Alfred until Batman showed up at his deathbed with beef. Don't come to the hospital. You haven't even come to see me yet, and you coming off some old dirt.
Oh, he said, "Why didn't you tell me that, Mike?"
Get the hell out of here.
Here's my take.
Oh, go ahead.
No, here's my take from this movie. I think the movie was good.
Yes.
Right. And I'm gonna name some things that I thought were great in the movie versus some things I didn't think it was great in the movie. And I like that I had the position that I had a chance. Go ahead, Boogie.
I want to say my one great thing first before anybody else says it. The fucking car. Oh, that car was so sexy. Has Batman always had a muscle car? I feel like he always has Italian designers.
No, he's always had a muscle car.
Okay, good.
Not with that stupid ass tank they had in Batman fucking Begins.
The Tumbler, listen, the Tumbler was amazing.
It was cool. It was cool.
The Tumbler, it's all the Batmobile.
Nothing
outside of Tim Burton's Batman has technically
the Tumbler
actually been a
very
Batmobile.
military. It was not about aesthetics.
Technically.
It was not about aesthetics, but this one, the aesthetics.
And that's where, and I'm glad you went there. So I won't start there, but I also took notes, and I'll be a little faster if I can, if you will. Here's my thing with this movie and why the movie was so great, right? Because again, as a non-Batman fan, it told a story from how people always try to say that Batman's dark and gritty. That's why I compared it to Gotham, right? This is the first movie since, honestly, Batman Begins, where if you've seen Man of Steel, I don't care if you like it or not, it's not here for that. To me, when I saw Man of Steel, I thought it was the first time I ever saw a movie that gave Krypton its own storyline. I always hear about Gotham being a storyline. This one actually felt like I was in Gotham City. It wasn't like we talked about Vengeance, how we talked about on last week's show where it was filmed here, it was filmed there, it was filmed here. You could tell it what it was, and it was a mixture of the same kind of a thing, of mixing all those big city things like Gotham Square Garden. We know that's Madison Square Garden, but it had areas that wasn't New York still, and that made it look gritty and dark. I love that about the movie. The things that I did not like, and I'll start there. I thought personally, as I'm watching this movie was 100% made for Batfleck. 100%. And everything that I thought about this movie that I was afraid of, that I warned Chris about, that I thought, hey, give it a chance, was, you mentioned something about earlier, C, about Tony Stark's. Thought that was a little bad thing. And I had to write that down because Tony Stark's did do a lot of detail and research. It was just so fancy, you thought he wasn't doing nothing but typing shit.
I don't know. Take it up with James, and I have to agree.
But Tony was always hitting shit and saving shit and putting shit where it had to go. And he did these things too. But here's the thing when it comes to being a superhero, right? Despite you can say what you want to say about this movie, it fits in perfectly with the Joker kind of a movie. You still have to play both roles. This man played a shitty Bruce Wayne. And that was my worst part of the movie. For the entire movie, he played a great Batman, and this is where again Batfleck shines to me in this movie, and no one still gets Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne because I get he's
Batfleck was playing an old ass Batman.
Well, that's the Batman they gave.
Like all of the bells and whistles and like all of the mannerisms, but this is his second year, and he's still dealing with the trauma of everything else. So of course he's not going to be over there being the playboy doing all of this. No,
it worked for Christian Bale. Christian Bale was in year 1. And Christian Bale still defined the two between Bruce Wayne and Batman. When I saw Batman, when I saw Pattinson as Batman,
they weren't going to have this in the early 2000s. They were still on that playtime, which is why the Batman Begins came out the way it did. But
and that's where I go with Vengeance down there when he used he loves to use the ages of the Batmans. And this is where his point is valid because you're right. That's not what you got 20 years ago. But I don't watch movies based off. I watch them, as I said earlier, what I see now, what it's now. I don't want to compare it to those things. There's no need to every superhero, whether you're Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, you have an alter ego. You have to play the alter ego. He did not play that well to me. The things that I also didn't like about the movie. This man said that this was the best movie cast he had ever been around, as if he didn't do Black Panther and Infinity War and Civil War and those kind of things. And I like Pennyworth. I didn't like him as Alfred Pennyworth. I did not like him as that. I even like the part when Batman said to him, you're not my dad, Alfred, right? Because he was trying to do that too much. Those are my negatives about the movies. My positives, and I'll be real fast, Mr. Chris, you can go because I've been waiting for a while. The Riddler, this was some scary shit. Okay. This man was duct taping people. Okay. That was insane. The Batmobile. And I love what you said, how you saw earlier in the movie, how he's putting it together. I'm going to compare this to if anybody ever saw The Phantom of the Menace or any Star Wars movie that has a good sound in a movie. Hearing the sound. I'm
glad you clarified that because Phantom Menace was
horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. But that race scene with Anakin and the racer was amazing, and how it sounded was incredible. In the movie theater, watching and then you thought it kind of stalled out, but it didn't. And it revs back up and he rams him. This has got to be an all-time top chasing scene in a movie ever by this sheer force in this car alone. It was its own character, was this damn car. Okay. Also, what was great about this movie was what do you say? Well, he's played more than just in Black Panther.
Planet of the Apes. He's played in quite a few movies.
Those are the ones that he's talking about Marvel in general. He's played in several movies, my guy. Do your study, Steven. How about that? Don't come from this.
Don't have me bring on
your arms are too small to box with God. As I continue. Now, what makes Vengeance so great is that being in year 2, the criminals don't know if Batman's going to beat their ass or not. They have no idea. They're just terrified. So in the beginning of the movie, when the guy's robbing the store with the pumpkin head on, he's not sure if Batman's in that dark spot or not. He just knows he might be in there and he might whoop my ass. And I'm not going there. And shout out to them for making the the kid off the train is Drake in Titans. Shout
That's
out
what
to
I
them.
was trying to tell this kid named Ruben. And I
Yes.
keep telling him that he looks smack like this.
That was the guy from Titans. Okay. That was great. This man right here, Falcone, they're making an HBO story just for him.
Yes, Stephen.
Okay.
What? Just for him?
Just for
That's
Penguin.
He
Just
did a
for
great job.
Penguin. He has his own show coming to HBO Max. And the
Nice.
rumor is also they're going to do the Gotham PD as well. And I did not like their interaction necessarily because it felt like it was kind of forced by these gazing looks. They didn't talk a lot to really have a lot in common. And honestly, if you saw Superman Returns, where I compare movies to, everybody looked at Superman looking at Lois Lane going up the elevator with his X-ray vision. It was like, oh, damn, Superman's not a pervert. When he was looking at her in the room and she was getting dressed and stuff, that was kind of perverted, Batman. Watching her
Batman
get dressed.
doesn't really have all that much dialogue when he's in the bat suit. Like he's, observing. He's there. He's being like, the
I'm not saying
man
it's wrong.
in the
I'm just saying
background.
it's just for me, that part didn't stick. But I did love her. Next to Eartha Kitt, and I will age myself, she is the best Catwoman. Because I thought Michelle Pfeiffer did too much, but that was good for the time for what they were giving you. But as I mature and I get older and I know what I like now, all for things because the world is changing and they're giving us better things they gave us before. This Catwoman was drinking the milk. You know what I'm saying? The comments about the kitty cats. Her when she kicked the dude off the roof and it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna just kill him. You know what I mean? they had to go save him towards the end of the movie. And I did like the end of the movie because it showed that Batman himself had to have an arc in this movie. And the arc was he was a rookie. He did not know how to do everything. You saw that when he jumped off the building and he got fucked up trying to fly, right? He has no powers. He's just now learning how to be Batman. So he fucked up things before and he got them wrong. In this movie, you saw what he was doing, like the whole scene with him and the Riddler. And you think that the Riddler knows that it's Bruce Wayne, but he's not sure that it's Bruce
that
Wayne.
was good.
That was brilliant. Because I thought like, damn, he knew. But no, he didn't know.
He didn't know.
Right? And then my only other fault about this movie is I thought the Joker scene was forced at the end. There was no need for that at the end. I did not understand it at the end, but I did like that he brought them out of that fire in that flood and led Gotham out of the dark. That was that was symbolism at its finest. That's what that scene was with them coming out. He brought Gotham out of the dark. And he did have that connection to that kid, which, by the way, guys, that kid's not going to play Robin. He doesn't have what makes Robin is that he got Batman understood Robin because they went through the same shit. They both lost their parents.
Tim Drake. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny?
That would be hilarious.
Actually, 5 different Robins, but
yeah, but we're talking about that. I'm talking about Drake.
It could be Jason Todd,
right?
It could still be Jason
Todd.
But
and that's where I finished at executive consultant. You have been extremely well behaved, and I admire that. So I'm gonna be my microphone to give you the.
Well, you know what? UPRE has been brought to my attention by a few people. UPRE, I'm a little bit different than I am with UPRW. Why? Because I'll sit there and I'll let everybody talk before I go into my spiel. And the thing is, I'll be respectful and I'm quiet, and then I'll still get interrupted, E-Boogie, over and over again about something that I say. Look at, go ahead.
See, now I'm going to interrupt you because
ahead,
that's false, and you only seem to call it an interruption when I speak. If any other male host speaks, you engage them, you laugh with them, you talk with them, you converse with them.
Speak on
when I
it.
speak, then it's interrupting.
I have children in wrestling. I will interrupt in a heartbeat.
Everybody interrupts me when I'm talking.
No.
Get back here because you're going to like this. I have 2 special guests, right? I have 2 special guests on. I did it because I was being hated on by so many people because they were like, oh, you're stupid. Nobody understands you. You're not making sense. Everybody thinks that you don't like anything. So I said, you know what? I'm going to ask people. What they liked about this movie. So I reached out to 2 people. There goes Vic, right? So I reached out to 2 people, right? And don't do that. I reached out to 2 people to ask them their opinion when it comes to this movie, and I actually recorded me doing this. So you all can see it's not just me. I have an opinion, and I'm very fair and open-minded with this. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to play. Look at the hate in Caesar Spears' eyes. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to play it. Hello, everyone. EC here with Vengeance. Hello, Vengeance. Okay, good to have you. How are you today?
I'm mad. I don't like anyone, not even my butler.
Why are you depressed throughout this entire movie?
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, you're supposed to be Batman and Bruce Wayne.
On vengeance.
Okay, I see your detective skills are lacking throughout this entire movie. Do you know you actually lost at the end?
This interview is over.
Greatest Batman movie of all time, or Batman, my ass. The disrespect that this guy showed me was unacceptable, and that's why your glittery ass is stupid and you're a horrible Batman. I gave you a platform to do something, and you treated me like shit. Here's the second person.
Sorry, so this is my review for the Batman. I saw it last week when it came out last Friday. Crazy late, 11 something at night. Didn't realize it was a 3-hour movie. Towards the end, I'm watching my highlights. That being said, did I enjoy it? Yes, I did. There was no Bruce Wayne in this movie. Hence why it's called The Batman. So did he portray Batman well, Rob Pattison? I thought so. The fresh Batman, this is year 2 Batman. The Batmobile, I want that car. I want to speed in that car. I want to hit things in the car. Loved it. Penguin, great. I want to see more. Court of Owls, give me that in the sequel. Catwoman, is she better than Michelle Pfeiffer? Zoe Kravitz, she did a great job. Soft spot in my heart, 1992 Batman Returns, Michelle Pfeiffer, she still takes it. The Riddler, serial killer, crazy.
But if you need an extra,
I liked the scene when he has the bomb strapped to the guy and he's asking the riddles and he's winding on the clocks. That was very, very effective. I like the fact that the cops don't like him, that they don't trust him. And some of them, begrudgingly towards the end, they begin to like him. I thought the opening sequence when he's reading through his Rorschach journal, so to speak, sometimes you see that with Batman in the comics. You hear how he says the light in the sky, everybody thinks he's around every corner. Perfect. I thought it was very, very effective. Where have I been? I've been working overnights. That's why I haven't been on the show. Am I working during days now? Yes, possibly. Will I be back on the show? I don't know. They begged me to do this, and here I am. Plus, it's my movie. I'm going to fly back soon. I'm in New Orleans right now. Vic, you're not the only one with money. Forget you.
Is the Riddler?
Ladies and gentlemen, that was James making a special appearance for this Batman movie. Much welcome guest after that damn Robert Pattison. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about some things I liked and disliked about this movie. The Penguin was brought up a little bit earlier. I was not a fan. I think the only reason how come people like this Penguin was simply because of the fact that it was Colin Farrell in a very convincing costume. That's it. Besides that, he did not really do much to me. He whined. He was a little bitch. He was the second thing. And then he tried to fake like he was going to try to attack Carmine Falcone, which he should be able to snap it too. And he still looked like a punk. So no, I didn't like that. I wish he got stranded outside after that chase scene. Here's a fun fact. I actually enjoyed the chase scene with Batman and the Penguin, right? Because I saw this movie in 4DX. And let me tell you about 4DX. I like the experience of 4DX, but sometimes they have these seats move for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Right? I'm over here. He's beating on the glass. I don't need to do this, right? I don't need to do this. But when it was a chase scene and I'm going like this and I'm like, okay, it's my drink, a martini. Is my martini going to drop? No, it's not. But I'm over here. I'm going like this. I'm going like that. I'm having a good time. I'm like, thank you. Finally, I woke up because I was falling asleep. Alfred. Great actor. I was actually looking forward to this guy playing Alfred, and he disappointed me. Why? Because he was just as depressing as this entire fucking movie. That's why. He didn't really do anything to really stay. He's supposed to be, if anything, the
Batman
bright light
feel-good movie.
of no. Because if you really pay attention to Batman, right? Alfred's usually always that white light. He's usually the calming force of Batman to keep him.
Where he was crying all of, I failed you in the last movie.
Because he's trying to show him how to be more humane, and he was doing it from a better perspective.
And he was trying to show Robert how to be a better man. He was trying to give him with the cufflinks. He's like,
I'm so glad I have opinions on this show.
Being all antisocial, bruh.
So Alfred, I felt was a little negative, and I felt like he was just as jury as everything in this movie. Oh yeah, he's not a good man. Of course, nobody's a good man in this damn movie. Shout out to Mike Knox, who mentioned something I forgot about. I actually enjoyed the beginning of the movie when they showed the criminals doing certain things, and then they looked at the shadows. You're like, is Batman coming out? You don't know is Batman coming out. I actually thought that was a good touch, so I'm going to give him credit for that. That was really, really good because Batman, as he said in his little narration, he can't be everywhere at all times. But the very idea, theatricality and deception are powerful agents, and that's what was really manifesting that. So I did like it. What I don't like about it is even in the first scene when he was fighting Tim Drake, shout out to Ruben, he comes out in his cowboy boots. Like, I don't know if he knows what century he's in. Every single time
those were Jodeci boots.
Yeah.
And they were H-Town boots.
I bought H-Town. They were definitely H-Town boots.
Steel toe boots to protect his toes.
They were
definitely.
I know what kind of boots they are. You're missing my point. My point is the way they were filming it was making me think that was like the Wild Wild West style. The way he was walking. I didn't particularly care.
He was a bad guy.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Wow.
I didn't like this storyline. I didn't like the intent, I'll say, behind it. About Catwoman and Carmine Falcone, right? Carmine was obviously, I mean, he said it, that's my father, but it was so clear he wanted to bang his daughter. Now, granted, he didn't know that was his daughter, right? I'll give him that. He didn't know that was his daughter. And then when he found out he was daughter, hey, I don't want to fuck you anymore, but I want to kill you. I mean, that storyline I'm not exactly a fan of. I understand why they did it. I get it. I'm just not a fan of it, okay? So I just want to put that out there. There's been so many Jokers over the last 10, 12, 15 years. I don't really necessarily need to see another one. I really don't necessarily need to see another one. And for what I heard so far, and I hope this was just a stand-in, I wasn't impressed. I feel like this Batman, I'm not saying you should have had the Joker because obviously that's a yin and yang, but you probably could hold off on it a little bit more.
Absolutely. Batman
has a wide variety of villains, which is why I thought the villain was a good choice for the first one. They don't have to keep going back to Joker.
Can I ask you a question real fast without interrupting any of yourself? So at the end, right, when he puts in that serum or that adrenaline, did you think that was a Bane elixir at first or just adrenaline?
Venom. I thought it possibly was like the beginning of Venom because you knew it was adrenaline, right? But the way they, because it's the Batman franchise, you think it's like the tease to the start of how they bring it in.
You can't help yourself but tease what you think it
Correct.
is. All right.
Speaking of the villain of Riddler, I was arguing with James about this earlier. I wasn't a fan of Riddler. The Riddler is my favorite Batman villain, but I wasn't a fan of how they made him up to be. Simply because of the fact that I don't think he was intellectual enough. He was smart.
I can see that.
I'm not calling him dumb at all. He was definitely smart. But the Riddler's thing, not so much as the serial killer, even though, like I said, it was a different perspective, so I get that, is the fact that I'm going to outwit Batman.
Yeah.
Not expose this, expose that. So it felt more to me like Calendar Man. If you're real big Batman fan,
these are really great.
But wait, do you think Jim Carrey's Riddler was more of an intellectual than
you and I disagree on this? I actually enjoyed Riddler's Jim Carrey's Riddler.
But you're saying your criticism that he didn't feel like an intellectual, but Jim
Carrey's thing was whole premise was
it was just that it's just how what it was with that Riddler is they made him, and I didn't like that Riddler. I thought they made him look stupid
because he was goofy.
But what he was saying was really intellectually.
He was very intellectual. Like I said, his whole premise is to be more intelligent. He kept taking everybody smart. So
I have two fun facts to refer to the two villains. One, this Riddler supposedly was very and heavily inspired by the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
And two, the actor who plays the end credits Joker.
Yeah.
He was in a movie
Eternals.
with Eternals. That's his name? He was in
Eternals.
Oh, I didn't see that. He was in a movie with
you don't waste nothing.
I figured. He was in a movie with Colin Farrell called The Killing of a Sacred Deer, where he plays this crazy emo teenager. Very interesting. He's a scary looking person.
Okay.
So I'm
old. What the hell does emo mean? Y'all say all the time. I'm not gonna be afraid that. Okay, emotional. Why don't you say emotional, motherfuckers? Okay, emo. Gotcha.
Emo is it's like a
subculture.
I got it, but listen, y'all made Cap lying. How the fuck does Cap mean lying? Cap means I'm busting a cap in your ass.
I respect the fact that he is in year 2, and I respect the fact that he is learning, right? So there are certain things I like about it. So this I'm going to mention. I'm going to hate on it because I wasn't a fan, but I understand why they did it. I just wasn't a fan. him being afraid of heights, I was not a fan of.
That was so funny. Though.
Now I understand he had to learn to glide and all that other crap, but just the initial "I'm afraid of heights" thing, I was just not a fan of.
He was taken aback by it. He's on how many stories?
You're a billionaire. You do the jets. You do all. I mean, I just don't. I just don't like. Now, granted, he needs to learn. I'm not expecting him. I'm not expecting him to be able to fly and do all that stuff he does in other Batmans immediately, and I get that. I completely understand that, right? But it's just the overall way they did it. I just wasn't a fan of. I also wasn't a fan of this Catwoman. I thought she did a great job, but to sit here and say that she was as good as Michelle Pfeiffer, I think is asinine to me. But everybody has their own opinion on that. I didn't see the chemistry between them as much.
Eartha Kitt's the best Catwoman ever.
That's an arguable opinion, and I can see why you would say that. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break now so we can come back on our final thoughts. But before we do that, I do want to get into a little bit of quotables because I always do that. My favorite line is, "Do you know who I am?" Because I say this all the time. I actually said this fun fact on Wednesday when I was at McDonald's because my friend David had to go to the restroom and I'm there and then somebody comes up, "Hey, can I have some change?" I wish James was here. "Can I have some change?" And I said, "Young lady, do you know who I am?" And she was like, "Oh, now that I say," I did ask that. Sorry, Aaron. This is what. Hey, this is funny. This is shoot. I asked her. I said, "Do you know who I am?" Because I used to kick her ass out of Motel 6 when she used to come there and beg people there for change.
Nice.
Right? So I was like, "Do you know how he is?" She was like, "Now that I see your face, yes, I do know who you are, sir." I said, "Good, keep it moving." And, so I just, I always do my quotables and something that I use every day, and this was definitely one of them. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Wait.
Go ahead, C. Go ahead, C.
All right, so my quotable is this. It was at the end, close to the end of the movie. It's from the Riddler. He said, "We spent our lives wondering why us. Now they will spend their last moments wondering why them." I was like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Favorite.
I got a quotable.
Go ahead, Ian.
Riddler, when he said, "Defund the police."
So that's a Joe Byron.
All cops are bad. That's what Riddler said.
He sure did.
Didn't you say some of them other cops? Because I don't think I spoke about enough, and I knew we got to go to the break, executive consultant, but that wasn't spoken about, and I think that was very, very good. How I do think Commissioner Gordon was amazing in this movie, and because the relationship that Batman and him has had, to me, was probably, it was up there. Like I said, I get Gotham from this, and I think Gotham's one of the greatest shows ever made. I'd say watch season 1, you won't miss a damn thing. Right into season 2, and you're off to the races, right? So, but the cops in this movie, like when he walks through and they're looking at him, and he's looking at them, and he's looking at me, I'm looking at them. I just love that dynamic of it all. And then when he goes in the police station, he goes, "What are you doing? You got him in here," and he's because he's about to interrogate the Riddler, and he's sitting there, and the cops are just like, he's in the police department. You know what I mean? Like, who is this dude? He's touching him. He's like, he got gloves on.
Yeah, I said that line right before he said it. I was like, "Well, he got all gloves."
I'm sorry, that was just, this movie is just, and Chris, I ain't gonna lie to you. I knew you didn't like it. I think every statement you made was arguable, 100%. I really do that. I don't agree with, but I love to look at I understand
y'all talking
other
crazy now. This lady's commercial.
I understand other aspects of movies and why people don't like things, right? Just to, like, I won't make a wrestling reference. We do a lot on here because I know girls don't like that talk. So I use a sports reference, right? I hate LeBron James as a basketball player, but I respect the hell out of LeBron James as a man, as a husband, as a figure. As what I love is always going to be Jordan. So when I look at movies, I can understand why people don't like or do like these certain kind of things, because everything's not for everybody. But this thing, to me, this movie is like a big snowball going down a hill, and it just picks up steam the whole way. From the beginning to end, it's just a great movie.
Oh, yeah. Let's say that for final thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, find out what we're reviewing on Thursday and find out what we're reviewing next Tuesday for our next franchise. We'll be back. You're watching UPRE.
These are my coworkers.
Jobs, please.
What if somebody calls the cops
And says what?
I spent $5,000 at a strip club, send help?
Hammer time. I was born to flex. Diamonds on my neck. I like boarding jets. I like more than sex. But nothing in this world. I like more than sex. We didn't do anything.
In the 21st century, a weapon will be invented like no other. This weapon will be powerful, versatile, and indestructible. It will have only one purpose: to return to the present and prevent the future. This weapon will be called the Terminator.
For a second, I thought it was Johnny Five.
Welcome back to UPRE. Join us this Thursday as we begin the month's Thursday's episode with Ladies Who Hustle. And of course, we're going to start off with the movie The Hustlers. Fitting movie to start off with. And then next Tuesday, we get into the franchise of The Terminator. And yes, Charmaine has been approved by our president to be on this Thursday to join us for Hustlers. So looking forward to that.
If you guys don't mind, I love the tag in for them Terminators. I've watched them all.
No problem with that. Those are on Tuesdays. So, ladies and gentlemen, right now we're talking about The Batman, and I will actually go first as far as James's thumbs up, thumbs down. His final thoughts is, as he already said in it, but he gives the movie a thumbs up. So that's one thumbs up to start. I will also go on behalf of Rashad, who unfortunately couldn't make it. He also gives the movie a thumbs up. So right now we're starting with 2 thumbs up, and we have 5 more to go. And the biggest UPRE episode of all time. Robert Pattison gave me his proxy too, and he said thumbs down. All right, what we got? Go ahead first, Mike.
Thumbs up. I mean, like I said, I see you already told me I already gave it away. From the beginning to end, I thought this movie was good. It got better and better as it went along. I understood the mistakes that it's trying to make because he's a young Batman. But like I said, my only negative to this movie is that you got to be able to play both superheroes, and I thought he played it. Every time he took the mask off,
superhero.
all I saw, well, I'm not gonna argue that. Okay, he is a superhero, vigilante, whatever. It's all the same thing. But when he took the mask off, all I saw was Edward Cullen, and that's the part I didn't think I would see. And that's, if you've seen Twilight, he's a departing, depressing person, and that's what I saw as Bruce Wayne, and that's not Bruce Wayne. So, but thumbs up all the way, all the way, all the way.
Vengeance, what you got?
Okay. All right, like I said before, this was a very Gen Z movie. It's very TikTok. It's very instant gratification. It's very like it hits you right from the beginning. It's spot junkie, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean? It's very like very little storytelling, and it just gets right into the action. And I think that all of that is a matter of perspective, because I think that the drag out of the storytelling of the arc of who Bruce Wayne is and the Batman and all of that happened in Batman Begins, I don't think that that's going to necessarily hit for the Roaring 20s. Now, with that being said, it's definitely more emotional, definitely more a little bit more captivating when it comes to like Thomas and Martha Wayne. Alfred doesn't necessarily doesn't do much, unfortunately. Is impactful a little bit, but doesn't necessarily do much. Gordon was great, but in my opinion, the best Jim Gordon is the Jim Gordon from Gotham. So, you know, it's all a matter of perspective. I'm curious to see how this movie ages. Like by 2030, I'm very curious to see what happens with this whole storyline, how they do things. I think a lot of things were just pulled out of nowhere. But the other reason why I'm curious is because, like I said before, there really isn't no initial storyline. So I don't know if the next movie there's going to be some part of it is going to be like a prequel. They're going to dive more into his story a little bit more.
Did you watch this movie in the movie theater or just on bootleg?
No, I saw it on my phone.
Okay, that's a shame because I don't know what you saw.
All right. But the thing about it is just that, like, especially after watching all of the other Batmans, it definitely felt very fresh, very new. But I'm very curious to see how it's going to age, because clearly there's going to be more movies, and you know, I feel like this thing is going to go down like Mortal Kombat, with like a storyline and 2-3 movies, and then on to the next. But we'll see. They might do shows out of this. You're talking about how they're going to do a Penguin show and all this other stuff. So, like, you know, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But bottom line is thumbs up.
They got 2 of them coming, Vic. One for sure is Penguin. The other one's they think it's going to be more of just the Gotham Police Department.
Sense. That makes sense.
I hope he signed on for a couple more at least.
E-Boog.
You're either all these only have 2 of these, but only give 1 of these. It's a thumbs up. It's a thumbs up for me. 1 thumbs up for me.
Yeah. My kids would say that was so easy. They'd be like, Dad, that's an easy pun. What are you doing? damn smart kids.
That's it. It's a thumbs up for me. Love emo, grungy, Bruce Batman.
You know what though? Wait, there's one thing I forgot to say. The technology was awesome. The eye technology that he had,
that was fire.
I want that. Fire. I want that.
That was the only updated thing in the
movie.
I mean, when did you see Batman use a flash drive? You've never seen Batman use a flash drive before. I mean, but mind you, like it's been 20 years. The technology. I mean, listen, we only have these devices with screens for about a decade. That's about it. So like,
this is supposed to be set in the 2000s. Early 2000s.
I like that there was like, older technology because he's making it himself. It's not like he's Tony Stark with all of this, military defense access.
Stolen high tech shit.
Yeah, he's making it himself in his freaking back cave.
Fox. Nobody's making it illegally like they did in Dark Knight. Like all that. Look at Dark Knight. Who's making all this illegal shit? All this is for the government? Damn, right. Batman. Applied scientists, y'all was doing some illegal shit.
Morgan Freeman was ill though. Like
but Stark Industry was stealing shit too. They were just messing the whole world up.
See the superior. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I forgot to mention a few of my favorite scenes. One of them was the first fight in the Iceberg Lounge, whatever. When he's pretty much got the bat and he's taking out niggas with guns, he was just right at him and stuff. I thought that was cool. I like the scenes with him and Catwoman at her house, and I like the scene with him and the Riddler at Arkham Asylum. Really engaging and intriguing scene.
What question are you talking about, Charmaine? What question are you talking about? Go ahead.
Of course, I love this movie. I saw it twice. I think, and I challenge anyone to answer this question: what year one or movie one Batman is better than this? There isn't one.
Batman Begins.
Batman Begins.
Batman Begins.
Better than
this? No. None.
You're
none
insane.
of them.
Batman Begins. Batman Begins and Batman are both better. Well,
Batman Begins. I will say this much to those, and I see what y'all saying as far as again. I saw Batman Begins with a Batman fan. They don't show how he becomes like, at least Batman Begins does what no other movie has ever done, and that's show you where he got everything from, and that's from Ra's al Ghul and the Shadow Guys and whatever.
It was corny.
But that's Batman's story from the way it's been written from day one.
Corny.
It's like
he's in there sword fighting with these people and who
well, you do know that Batman's a ninja,
and he
right?
never picks up a sword ever again.
But Batman's a ninja.
It's a stupid like it's not a good movie one. Sorry to tell you.
But do you know that?
Well, I mean, you're entitled to your
opinion. Very much Karate Kid.
But he's a ninja.
I mean, it's the best. It's the best way. It's the best way to explain Batman. This movie just goes. This movie's very TikTok.
Because you asked that question.
This movie is straight TikTok. It's straight like right away.
TikTok, and the other one is MySpace because it's old as fuck and it didn't age well. Sorry.
MySpace still rolling.
But this Batman is straight TikTok, straight for the little kiddies, straight for the people who at.
Please see.
Okay.
Go ahead, see.
I'm giving this movie a thumbs up because it was great. Best movie one Batman.
I just need Vengeance to stop telling me that these movies are for certain demographics. Damn it, I'm 45 years old. They for everybody.
Every time.
It's not about that.
I'm like going to find out when you watch a UPRE, you're going to find out from Vic that this movie is made for this demographic. This movie is relegated somehow to New York City, and this movie has a sequel.
No, mind you, you know why I say that too? Because look, number one. This movie right now is especially for this time. This movie's for this time. Why? It's a battle between the cops, a battle between good cops and bad cops. What's happening now? And then number one, look at the villain. Look at the villain. Look at the villain. The villain looks exactly. This is the first person that I thought of as soon as I saw that motherfucking
Steve Jobs?
Yes. No, not Steve Jobs. Bill Gates.
That's Bill Gates. Bill Gates
is the first person that I thought of as soon as I saw those thick-ass glasses. That felt Bill Gates 1985. Who's the person that people are talking the most about right now with the vaccine? Bill Gates. So, like, it felt so
every day. I don't hear Bill Gates ever being mentioned about the vaccine. I hear more about Jeff Bezos doing whatever the hell Jeff Bezos is doing. I just want to get this part, Vic, that I guarantee you, right? Like, I have my cousin and we always had this argument.
Whose final
And
thought is
I
this?
guarantee you, they do not make movies for one generation. They
I
make
didn't
them
say
and
that.
they pick them for everybody.
I didn't say that. The
Okay.
thing is that who's gonna go? Who's the people that usually have the most time and the people that are those people, are the young people. That's
They'll
why they
get all
think
the
they cater to the young people. Look, when we were talking about all of that stuff, that was catered to people that were young. All right, I'm gonna mute myself.
Thank you. We can talk about this after. Let's go with my final thoughts because I want to be quick about it. This movie at first was going to get a solid thumbs down, right? And it felt like it. And then this movie was, I was starting to lean. I was starting to teeter a little bit because some things were brought to my attention. Then I thought about the movie some more, right? And this was actually mentioned by a few people. Batman Bruce Wayne was the same exact person that pissed me off. Like, the stupidity of this was just stupid. He knocked on the same door twice and said, "Do you know I am?" with the same voice and the same, "I look like I'm depressed." The shit was pissing me off, man. Pissing me the fuck off. That's one. Every time, then there was a funeral scene and he's dressed as Bruce Wayne. He's still looking miserable, like he knew the mayor personally. They were best buddies and bosoms buddies and all this other stuff. Looking so damn depressed, but not sad because the guy's dead. He just looks like he's sad in life, right? And then when everybody else is trying to run out, he's just standing there. I'm like, y'all can't tell this motherfucker's Batman? Like, it just bothered the hell out of me, right? Look at her already.
Because they made several mentions in the movie that Batman is the real him. Even the realist said, we all know this is the mask. That's the real you. So this is his second year. He hasn't had time to develop a persona to separate his real self from what he has to be around people.
But
so
my argument is not so much the fact that he's not playing a different character, even though that is my argument. But my main argument is the fact that nobody can tell that that's Batman. Look at how depressed he looks. Look at him. Look at his eyes. He looks like there's no difference between him and Batman at all. I can be able to. If he's inside his mansion all day, then sure. But he doesn't. He actually ventures out.
It was pretty cool.
Make the world's greatest detective to see that it is two different. I'm the same person. Doesn't take
that was cool. How you beat the detective ass.
All right, so look. But what made me start leaning towards the thumbs up is that somebody, I'm around with my coworkers, I never thought he would have been able to sway me on a movie, actually said, shout out to Vic, actually said this movie was made for a sequel. And the sequel, as you can tell from the ending, is going to be like the Arkham video game series.
Mm-hmm.
And when I played the ending in my head again, because I don't bootleg, shout out to Vic. When I replayed the ending in my head again, I realized, oh my God, that's exactly how the sequel can be. And this guy, Robert Pattison, the Batman version, will be the best person to play, outside of Ben Affleck, that particular video game series. And I was amazed. I was flabbergasted. It actually changed my opinion. This movie gets a thumbs down. But it's not as hard a thumbs down as it would have been about 48 hours ago, and I still stand by my reasoning. This is the worst Batman movie of all time. The worst by none. By none. I prefer Chill.
Definitely Batman and Robin.
I prefer Chill over this shit. I prefer... Oh, yeah, that motherfucker. I prefer...
do you think you should watch it again, not at 10 o'clock at night?
If I watch it again at 10 o'clock at night, if I watch it again at 10 o'clock at night, I will sit here and I will tell you that I still would say
because James
worst Batman.
He's just sticking to his guns because he already came in not wanting to like it, and he refuses to change his opinion,
That's
even
not
though
true.
he knows for a fact that
I'm on that side
of the show.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
No, we're not going to do that. I've proven plenty of times on the show that even if I hate a movie at first, if I go in there, I watch it with open minds, and I give it a thumbs up. Your Notebook included.
You're just like the regular.
Don't you dare talk about the Notebook.
This.
I did not want to see that. That's not true.
Karma
that is not
giving
true.
Thumbs up to other movies.
That is not
just
true.
So you can give a thumbs down to this movie tonight.
It's
Ladies
not
and gentlemen,
a good movie. I did not enjoy the movie, and I always say it's based off if I enjoy a movie. I didn't enjoy it. It was not good.
Ladies and gentlemen,
take us home then.
It's the Batman. It's all about the Batman. Go see it in theaters. Go get people paid. The people who make the popcorn, people who make your ices. Go cut them a check. This was an excellent movie. Robert Pattinson did an excellent sparkling job, and we appreciate that. I definitely need the brand for that eyeliner. Thank you for watching UPRE. Find us next time.